What? Hey. Hey, what, Eurovision 2019, I got a new video, Alesia Michelle, I'm ready to go. Eurovision fam, are you ready for the show? Hey Eurovision fam, it's Alesia Michelle. Today we're going to be talking about my predictions for semifinal 2. Semifinal 2 is definitely our tougher semi. It's tricky. We've got a lot of high impact songs. We've got a lot of strong songs in semifinal 2. And it's going to be complicated because no matter what, I definitely think we're going to have a quality song that's going to get left behind. It's just going to happen. We know it. So I'm already preparing myself. Before we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know that when I am in Tel Aviv, Israel, are you going? I am going to be doing a meet and greet and live stream featuring you. Yes, you. We're going to be at the Abraham Hostel. It's going to be super dope. We'll be able to get drinks, get some bites to eat. I think we're going to be outside. And I'll do a meet and greet. Like, we'll talk, we'll chat, we'll hang out. Like, to me, this isn't just like a meet and greet so you can meet me. Trust me, I'm not that big of a deal. I know I'm not that big of a deal. But no, I think it'll just be fun for us to kind of all come together, for those of us who are going to be able to be there in Israel. And then we get to go live together. You will join me on a live stream. It'll be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you can make it. All the details are on my Facebook page and in the description below. But without further ado, we got to talk about this semifinal of death. I'm going to start off and just talk about the countries that I definitely don't think are going to qualify. This isn't necessarily just because I don't want them to qualify, but these are the songs that I feel pretty confident, just giving like past records, the current song that we have, the songs that we're comparing them against. And to be honest, we've got one song that I have in my like probably definitely not qualifying bunch that honestly is there just because I'm like, wow, I really think that the running order is just killing it. Okay, so my definite non-qualifiers are as follows. And in no particular order: Lithuania, Croatia, Moldova, and honestly, I just definitely don't think that Ireland is going to qualify. As much as I think that the song is cute, I think the running order is like kind of exactly what this type of song doesn't need. Because the thing is, I think it's a really cute radio-friendly song. I think staging could bring this to life and tell an amazing story. But I think where it is coming in the show order is just going to ultimately sink it. I think even if they put on a really good show, I really do think that this running order is just like dooming it. And I think I said this before in my other video. For me, it's like, you know, running order really doesn't matter until it matters. And I definitely think in this case, unfortunately, Ireland, I just don't think has that momentum behind the track. And I hate this because this is actually kind of the music that I really like to listen to and I like to sing. I mean, I grew up on like 50s, 60s like girl groups, and I love Amy Winehouse, and I really think that this is like a really cute song, and I think Sarah's gonna sound great, but I do think this is an act where any kind of hope we had for this to qualify once the running order was released, it was like, oh, yeah, probably not. Now I'm going to get into my surefire qualifiers. My surefire qualifiers are as follows. I've got the Netherlands. I've got Sweden. I've got Norway. I know some people at one point were kind of on the fence about Norway, and some folks were sort of saying, oh, Norway might end up being that fan favorite shock non-qualifier, but I don't think that Norway is. I think it's just something about these live performances they've been doing. They sound great, they look good. I think the visual's gonna be impactful. Yeah, I do think any fear that folks had about Norway qualifying, I think we can let that go at this point, because I'm pretty confident for Norway. I mean, I don't know what the staging is going to be, but I'm pretty confident that they will end up, you know, making it to the grand final, which honestly is where they belong. Norway should definitely be in the final, for sure. Next up, I've got Switzerland. Yes, Switzerland. I know that this song has some haters, but I'm not going to lie. Some of the haters sound a little bit reminiscent of the haters of Toy last year. And here we are going to Tel Aviv, Israel. So, you know, all of that hate really wasn't adding up to anything that made any type of real impact, because Netta still won. And look, I mean, Switzerland deserves to be in the grand final. I think the stage show is going to be good. This song is just a bop. It's fun. I think it's going to be sung well. I think the styling is going to look good. This is really one of those full package numbers that we're getting. I'm not necessarily saying that it's a surefire to win. I'm not even saying that it is a winner, but I do think it is something that deserves to be at the Eurovision Grand Final. And anyone who wants to drop down in the comments and say that they don't think it's going to qualify, I would really love to hear that logic, because I just don't see it happening. Russia. So I have 5 slots left, and I think I'm gonna talk about my fence and kind of like my borderline folks. The thing is, look, I think Malta is going to qualify. Malta, for me, is in my grand final. It is one of my favorite songs this year. I know Malta sometimes struggles to get points on both the jury and televote side of things, so I don't think our historical knowledge of the contest is really going to be helpful. For me, this act lives or dies really on MICHELA, because I do think Malta is going to invest in this act and the staging, and it is on her to get on the stage, be confident, and sell it. I think vocally she will be fine, but we need that charisma. And I will even say in the music video, I did get a little bit of like Blanche flashbacks. And the thing is, in City Lights, you can kind of have that like cool girl, mysterious aloofness, slightly uncomfortable, like sense about you. I think you can kind of get away with that with a song like City Lights, but a song like Chameleon, you just can't. You have to get on the stage and sell it. Sell it, sell it. I am hopeful because I think this song is so good, but I do think that this act lives and dies with her. We need her to come out and be that fresh face, charismatic girl, and a little bit sassy. I'm gonna need her to sell it, and I think that it will be done well enough, but I don't know. We gotta wait and see what happens with the staging, but I am hopeful, and I really would love to see this in the final, but I do think it is fair to put Malta as a borderline qualifier. I think that is fair given what we know and the information that we have now, but look, it will be hard for me to not have this in the final because the song is just so good. But then again, I think about like basically Macedonia the past 2 years where they had these great studio tracks and then they just fell apart on stage. I don't think that this will fall apart on stage, but I do think that little extra spark that we will need from our performer, it's possible that we might not get it, but I am hopeful that we will. Let me talk about the A countries. I'm gonna talk about Armenia, Azerbaijan, Albania, and Austria, because there's something happening that's similar with a lot of them. And what it is they're good. You can't really say that much bad about them as studio tracks, as standalone pieces. I think they're all deserving and good entries. For me, of the A names, Albania, I really want in my final. I really do think I want Albania in my final. This is a song that I listen to start to finish. I always stop on it. I do think that this staging, I mean, the way that the song builds and takes us someplace, not to mention this is most definitely an upgrade from what they did last year. I do think Albania is building on momentum, which is what we want. That's what we want to see. I really want Albania in my final. If it doesn't make it there, I think it's because you might have some folks who are like, oh, another screaming woman. I think this is so different, and I think that this is beyond that, and I think it is such quality, and I mean, the vocal, to me, just everything, the production in it, it's a journey. The song is a journey, and I love that. So I would love to see Albania qualify, but I do think it's one of those on the cusp songs. I will say that Albania is in a better place than Armenia, unfortunately. I like Armenia, and I don't know if I've really heard people say this, but there is something about the song structure, the musical arrangement of Armenia's song that I actually tend to like, because I think it makes it really memorable. I think it makes it really impactful, but I also recognize the fact that it can be jarring for folks because we've got a lot of levels, and there is something about the song when we get to that bridge, it kind of feels unexpected, but I could see people saying it feels unexpected in a negative way. And I think our vocal is going to be strong. I am nervous, but if I had to trade, I would rather have Albania than Armenia in my grand final, I think, which is tricky because I do like I like Walking Out. Like, that's a song that I would like listen to regular. Like, even if it wasn't like in Eurovision, I would listen to that track because it's so good. Let's talk about Azerbaijan. I think Azerbaijan's going to be in the final. I think the story they're going to tell on stage is going to be impactful. Azerbaijan knows how to stage. I think it's going to sound good. I think it's going to look good. And this is a good song. I mean, it's a good song. It's a good song. And so I do think it's going to end up in the final this year. I don't think Azerbaijan is going to have the issues that it had last year. I know some people were like talking about the acoustic version, but I mean, let's be real. Most people who watch Eurovision are not even going to see that acoustic version. So I don't really think that matters. And I think when people are like, well, now I'm worried about his vocal, but he's not singing the acoustic version. He's singing that studio track, and the studio track is strong and is good. And I think it's going to be a circus on stage in the best way. So I do think Azerbaijan is going to qualify. And the last A country is Austria. Here's the thing. This is a great song. It's sung well. I think the staging will be thoughtful. But at the end of the day, it is so low impact. It's so low impact that I think it is going to just become forgettable. I think some juries might give Austria some points. So I don't think that this necessarily is going to come last by any means, but I do think Austria is in trouble. I don't even know if it's really a borderline qualifier. I think this is almost kind of solidly probably not going to qualify. But again, I don't think it has anything to really do with the song not being good or the vocal not being good or the staging not being good. I think it's just going to end up becoming forgettable in this pack. And at the end of the day, in this semifinal, we've got a lot of high impact songs. We've got a lot of memorable tracks. And I think this one will unfortunately fall by the wayside. I'm going to talk about Romania. I think Romania is going to cut it close, but I do think Romania is going to qualify. I think they are going to cut it close. And the only thing that I actually think will hurt Romania is the fact that I think they might even do too much with the staging. I think that there's a chance that they could go overboard with some of the projections and some of the visuals. And the thing is, the song is actually good. The song is really memorable. I think the song is high impact. So you don't want to do too much to where it becomes distracting. And then people are like, it's a big old mess. I'm going to go to the bathroom and take a break. You know, you don't want to do too much because then it almost seems like you're trying too hard, and like you never want to try too hard. And I do think last year with Malta, CHAMELEON, the staging, although expensive, it was a little bit of like the whole kitchen sink in it. And sometimes it's like, I just want some chicken, you know, like just give me the chicken, well seasoned. I don't need all these sauces. Like just give me the meat. The meat is good. I don't need all these additives on it. Like I'm good. Let me talk about Macedonia. North Macedonia, I actually don't think that they will qualify. But if they do, it'll be kind of a fence. I think it'll be a borderline qualifier. But I do think it's going to end up being one of those borderline ones that ends up just not making the cut. I think the running order is not to its advantage. Honestly, I think I will still be wiping away my tears, and I might even need to go to the bathroom, reapply my makeup, make sure my lashes haven't moved, you know, just want to make sure my lashes are tacked down. And then I'm coming into the song, you know, maybe, you know, a minute and 30 in, and then I realize, oh crap, I need to refill my drink because we're going to get some scores soon. Yeah, I think with North Macedonia, even though I think this will be sung well and it will be performed well, if it makes it in, it's going to be borderline. But if it doesn't make it in, I do think it's going to be right there on that cusp of like a couple of points away from making it to the grand final. And ultimately, I don't know if this is going to make the grand final. It is a good song. And I do think it's going to be sung well. But then again, this is the tricky semifinal. Look, Latvia is not. I don't think Latvia is going to be in the final. I think the only thing they have going for it is the fact that they're the only like country folk track that we have. But honestly, that being their only kind of thing going for them at this point, to me, in this semifinal, I just don't think Latvia is going to make it through, and I just don't see the path at this point. I don't see the momentum. Okay, and I haven't talked about Denmark. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Denmark is not in my grand final. I would not put it there. If it was a jury and televote of just me, I would not have Denmark in my grand final. But I will say I do think Denmark runs the risk of being the Austria Luan DC, because honestly, I didn't want Luan DC in my final. I didn't. I did recognize that there were people who liked it. Look, I would really love for Denmark to just go on and take the L this year with this track, because ultimately, you know, I feel like they're going to end up doing the staging the same as they did in Denmark. And honestly, if that's what they're planning on doing with that styling, they can forget it. I don't think that staging is impactful, and I don't think that staging will secure them a solid place in the grand final. I think if they maybe had some more Luan DC feeling like staging, I think that would help it. I mean, you're singing Love Is Forever, and it's like a big chair and gray backgrounds, and it was something so dark about the performance paired with this like light bubbly song. And I'm assuming that was intentional to kind of create somewhat of a contrast, but it's not working. So I don't know if y'all still have time to figure out what you're going to do with that staging, but I'm going to be honest, I really don't want Denmark in my final. So I've said my piece on that, but I would not be surprised if it did qualify for the grand final. But from my perspective, if it qualifies, it's kind of taking the space of like a North Macedonia. It could be taking the space of an Albania. The fact that we have some really quality songs that are probably not going to make it through, songs that I personally feel are stronger than what Denmark is offering. I can understand why people like Denmark's song, but I think sometimes it's not so much about, oh, well, I just like it. Like sometimes it's kind of like looking at a performance holistically, looking at the performer, looking at the staging, looking at the meaning and the depth behind the song. And not saying that Denmark's song doesn't have depth, but it is sugar sweet, and you know, it's definitely message song light, you know. Yeah. So what I'm saying is actually going to qualify are the Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, Switzerland, Russia. Oh wow, I didn't even talk about Russia. I'll just say this. I mean, look, Russia's going to qualify. I mean, I don't even think I should waste my breath really talking too much about it, but I will say that if this song was not being delivered by Sergei Lazarev coming from Russia, I don't think that we will be talking about this song qualifying. Point blank. I just don't. Because the offering, I'm not saying is bad, but it is definitely not as strong as it could be. And again, I do think if another country was giving us this song, a country that, well, if it was not Sergei Lazarev and it was not coming from Russia, I don't think that this will qualify, / I think it would be more on the fence or like borderline, but I think it is going to qualify. So then of my fence, who I am saying is going to qualify, I am saying that I think Malta will pull it through, and I think Malta's going to qualify. I think Azerbaijan is going to pull it through, and I do think they're going to qualify. I think Romania, although cutting it close, is going to qualify. I do unfortunately think that Denmark is going to take somebody else's spot. I hope not. But I think Denmark is going to take someone else's spot, honestly, like Armenia's or North Macedonia's, and is going to qualify. And I think Albania squeaking it through, but maybe not even squeaking it through, because I hope juries appreciate this, and I do think televoters at home will be kind of struck with her performance, hopefully. So that does mean that I think, unfortunately, Armenia and North Macedonia are not going to make the cut. I think when the cards all fall, I think they're not going to make the cut. But again, I would love to have one of them traded, like just take Denmark out, and then we could put North Macedonia or Armenia there. Well, those are my predictions. What do you think? Talk to me in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Talk to me in the comments below. Do you disagree with me? That's okay too. Talk to me in the comments below. This is a conversation, and you know it, I am so excited for Eurovision 2019. Bye.